Browns owner named Shedeur Sanders Week 1 starter, plastered across every sports app, every social feed, every TV ticker. And you know instantly the game has changed, not just for the Cleveland Browns, not just for the quarterback room, but for the entire power structure of the NFL. Because this isn't just some rookie hype cycle. This is the owner, Jimmy Haslam, going nuclear. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Bypassing his own front office, shutting down his coaching staff, and placing the future of the franchise directly into the hands of a fifth-round rookie with a chip on his shoulder and fire in his chest. Let's talk about that chip. Shedeur Sanders didn't walk into the NFL with a red carpet. He wasn't babied by the media, groomed by the combined machine, or given the Golden Boy ESPN montage treatment. Nah, he was doubted, picked apart, tossed in a developmental project, been like some sort of backup experiment. And yet, here he is. Week 1 starter. The guy who was supposed to be riding the bench behind Dillon Gabriel is now the one taking first-team snaps, leading drills, and, oh yeah, controlling the locker room like he's been doing for 5 years. How? Because Shedeur didn't wait for permission. He took the opportunity. And the franchise? They had no choice but to follow. Don't get it twisted. This wasn't an overnight sensation. This was months in the making. Solo workouts in the dead heat of Texas. Private field sessions under Florida humidity. Rewatching film until 3 a.m. on an iPad. Not because someone told him to, but because that's just how he's wired. He wasn't training to be a backup. He was preparing to be the guy. And guess what? He is. Let's break down the impact, because it's more layered than people realize. First, the locker room shift. When Shedeur walks into the facility now, it's not as Coach Prime's son. It's not as the guy who got picked after Dillon Gabriel. It's not as the fresh face trying to earn his stripes. It's as a leader, the one the vets are already watching, the one the rookies are trying to emulate. You can't teach that. You can't scheme that into a playbook. That kind of presence is rare. And when it happens, you feel it. Second, the public reaction. Browns fans haven't been this excited about a quarterback since. Well, ever? Let's be honest. This franchise has had a revolving door under center for 2 decades. But something about Shedeur is different. He's not just talented. He's magnetic. He has that it factor that makes you believe. And for a city like Cleveland, that matters. A lot. These fans don't just want wins. They want identity. They want someone to believe in. And right now, they believe in Shedeur. But here's where things get even messier. The internal backlash. You don't make a move this bold without creating tension. The coaching staff, specifically Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, had a plan. A slow burn, play it safe, ease Shedeur kind of plan. They drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round for a reason. They had a timeline. Then Jimmy Haslam blew it all up. The message was clear. I don't care what round he was drafted in. I don't care if he disrupts your quarterback pecking order. I don't care if you think it's too soon. This kid is starting. Period. And that's a power play. This wasn't just about Shedeur. This was about Haslam throwing down the gauntlet. He's tired of being patient. Tired of being polite. Tired of watching the Browns tiptoe through mediocrity while other franchises gamble, swing big, and win. He's betting on Shedeur, not just as a quarterback, but as a revolution. And here's the wild part. It's working. Let's talk performance, because all of this drama means nothing if the guy can't ball out. But Shedeur can, and has. His footwork, cleaned up. His release, faster than it was even 2 months ago. His deep ball, chef's kiss. And perhaps most importantly, his poise in the pocket under NFL-level pressure, cool as a glacier. He's been slicing up defenses in joint practices, throwing guys open, reading blitzes before they hit, calling out protections like he's been doing it for years. This isn't just flash. This is substance. This is quarterbacking at a high level. And you know who's noticing? The same coaching staff that didn't want to start him. They're not going to say it out loud, but you can hear it in the way they talk now. The hesitation's gone. that he's learning narrative has shifted to he's ready. Because when the owner lays down the law and the player backs it up on the field, what else can you do but adjust? But don't assume this ride is smooth from here on out, because the pressure on Shedeur now, it's immense. Every snap is under a microscope. Every interception will be labeled as a teachable moment or rookie mistake, but not without controversy. Every win will be attributed to the owner's genius. Every loss will be pinned on his inexperience. That's the price of being the face of a franchise. And Shedeur, he's wearing that weight like armor. Because for him, this isn't just about proving the Browns right. It's about proving the entire league wrong. Every GM who passed on him, every analyst who called him entitled or overhyped, every coach who whispered about nepotism behind closed doors, he remembers all of it, and he's using it. It's already reshaping how other teams are evaluating talent. Suddenly, personality isn't a red flag. It's a variable. Swagger isn't arrogance. It's a signal. Confidence isn't distraction. It's a requirement. Shedeur isn't just changing the Browns. He's changing the formula. But let's not forget what makes this story so electric. The stakes. This isn't a rebuilding team looking to experiment. This is a Browns team that wants to win. Now. And putting it all on the shoulders of a fifth-round rookie? That's the kind of gamble that either rewrites history or becomes another footnote in Cleveland's tortured QB saga. No pressure, right? But if there's one thing Shedeur Sanders has shown us, it's that pressure doesn't break him, it builds him. So now the table's set. The Browns are all in. The fans are on board. The owner has drawn a line in the sand. The only thing left? The games. And when week 1 kicks off and Shedeur steps under center, everything changes. No more debates. No more speculation. Just the ball, the field, and one kid with a weight of city on his back. Let's see if he can carry it. Spoiler alert. He's been preparing for this his entire life. The fallout from Jimmy Haslam's decision didn't just rattle Cleveland. It detonated the Browns' entire operational blueprint. Inside the front office, shock turned to silence. Coaches scrambled to update depth charts. Offensive coordinators were forced to rip up their Week 1 prep plans, and phone calls between upper management grew hushed and tense. Why? Because this wasn't just a quarterback decision. This was a full-scale redirection of identity, from cautious corporate football to Shedeur ball. And Shedeur Sanders? He didn't blink, while the organization panicked. He showed up to practice the next morning at 5:12 a.m., 2 hours early. Alone, helmet on, script in hand, practicing play-action reps on an empty field like the stadium was already full. The kid doesn't just want the moment. He demands it. And yet, this move is more than about the quarterback. It's about control. The Haslam decision blew open a philosophical fault line that's been quietly cracking beneath the Browns for years. Do you build through process, slowly and safely? Or do you take a swing on rare, instinctive talent, even when it scares a room? Kevin Stefanski has always been a process guy. Measured, conservative, maybe to a fault. That's why he pushed for Dillon Gabriel. Gabriel was a safe bet. The polished within the structure quarterback. The kind of player who won't stir headlines or divide rooms. But Shedeur, he unlocks things. He doesn't just call plays. He owns them. He tweaks timing on the fly. Audibles out of dead formations. Creates plays off schedule, like he's scripting them in real time. Coaches who like things tidy and linear, Shedeur terrifies them. Because he represents creative chaos. Controlled brilliance. A player who makes you rethink how the game is meant to be played. And frankly, the Browns haven't had that since never. But here's where things get juicy. The players know. The vets. Those guys who bounce from team to team, clinging to depth roles or aging into mentorship status. They've seen it all. And still, they're buzzing about Sanders. Multiple offensive linemen, off the record, have said he's already calling protections better than most rookies they blocked for. One wide receiver told a local beat reporter, he makes you believe before you even run the route. That matters. Locker room buy-in is the invisible fuel behind any successful quarterback launch. You can have all the arm talent in the world, but if the guys in the huddle don't feel you, you're toast. That's what separates the backups from the franchise guys. And Shedeur, He's already got the room. But outside that locker room, the NFL media machine is working overtime. Analysts are backpedaling. The same ones who trashed Sanders pre-draft are now scrambling to reframe the narrative. Oh, we always said he had talent. We just questioned his fit. Suddenly, highlight clips from college are being unearthed and reanalyzed. Training camp footage is going viral. Twitter's flooded with side-by-side breakdowns of Sanders and other rookie QBs. There's an entire ecosystem now orbiting around Shedeur. YouTube creators, Reddit threads, fantasy football forums, podcast wars. One tweet about his footwork from a former quarterback coach gets 500,000 impressions overnight. He's not just a player anymore. He's a movement. And with that movement comes both hype and hostility. Because there are still those inside and outside the league who don't like what Sanders represents. Not just the swagger, but the disruption. He's a quarterback who skipped the combine. The player who called his own media shots. The one who refused to play by the draft's unwritten rules. And now he's starting week 1? To the old guard, that's heresy. So now the pressure builds. Not just to win, but to validate the chaos. And speaking of validation, let's talk about Coach Prime. Deion Sanders hasn't said much publicly since the announcement, but his presence is felt everywhere. Clips of him mentoring Shedeur on the sidelines in college are making the rounds again. Stories about their film sessions, their rituals, their shared mantras. All of it adds to the myth. And don't think the NFL isn't watching that dynamic closely. Executives across the league are wondering, is this just a father-son success story or the start of something bigger? A new era where players don't wait for institutional approval. They build their brand, their leverage, and their moment on their terms. And at the center of that theory is Shedeur. He's not just the son of a legend. He's the proof of concept. Now zoom out to the AFC North. This is no playground. The Bengals have Burrow. The Ravens have Lamar. The Steelers are still figuring it out, but they've got that steel-jawed defensive core that makes life hell for young QBs. And the Browns? They were supposed to be rebuilding, waiting, watching. Not anymore. By starting Shedeur, they've signaled to the division that they're not hiding. They're throwing their rookie to the wolves. And they expect him to hunt, which leads to the ultimate question. Can he deliver? Week 1 is looming. Defensive coordinators are already pulling film, looking for holes. Expect disguised coverages, blitzes from the edge, exotic pressure packages designed to confuse. The goal? Make Sanders hesitate. Rattle the rhythm. Turn the hype into headlines about rookie growing pains. But if you've been paying attention, Shedeur thrives in the chaos. He's the kid who wants the pressure, the noise, the disbelief. Because every time someone doubts him, he adds it to the fuel tank. And right now, that tank is overflowing. Let's also not forget the contract implications. Deshaun Watson's massive guaranteed deal is still haunting the Browns' books. And while Watson remains with the team, the emergence of Shedeur as a potential franchise QB opens up a financial future Cleveland didn't think was possible. If Sanders succeeds, they can start thinking about cap flexibility, roster building around a rookie contract, and unloading the Watson burden through trade or restructuring. In short, this is bigger than a quarterback competition. It's the opening move in a 5-year plan that could reshape the franchise from top to bottom. And what about Dillon Gabriel? The guy the front office wanted to win the job. The safe pick. Right now, he's stuck in the most awkward spot imaginable, outshined by a lower pick, backed by the head coach, but overtaken by ownership. Sources say Gabriel's reps aren't thrilled. They're worried this could derail his trajectory. And it might, because unless Sanders implodes, and nothing suggests he will, Gabriel could be trapped in backup purgatory for the next 2 years. That's how fast the league moves. One day you're the future. The next, your clipboard crew. As for Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, they become side characters in someone else's story. Useful mentors, maybe, but they know the spotlight is gone. The franchise has spoken. The city has chosen. And now, the NFL has no choice but to watch. Because the Browns didn't just give a rookie a chance. They gave him the franchise. And the story of Shedeur Sanders is no longer a theory. No longer a question. It's the most electric subplot in professional football. From fifth-round pick to field general. From developmental project to headline attraction. From locker room curiosity to face of the franchise. And that, friends, is what you call a power shift. Stay tuned, because this isn't the end of the story. It's just a coin toss. The coin toss is coming, but make no mistake. Shedeur Sanders has already flipped the power dynamic inside the NFL. And not just inside the Browns locker room. Across the league, GMs and coaches are scrambling to update scouting reports. You can practically hear the analysts choking on their preseason predictions. This was supposed to be the year of the safe bets. Quarterbacks who fit the system, who nodded through combine interviews, who waited their turn. Then Shedeur walks into the building like he owns a playbook, shreds reps in OTAs, and forces the owner's hand before a single preseason snap. That's not just unusual. That's unheard of. And suddenly, every team that passed on him, every GM who flinched because of his swagger or the Deion-sized shadow next to him, has a problem. Because now they have to ask themselves a brutal question. Did we miss the next star? That question alone is going to haunt war rooms for years if Sanders delivers even a glimmer of what he's teased in camp. But let's get real. This isn't just about skill. It's about timing. The NFL right now is begging for the next wave of quarterbacks to take over. Brady's gone. Rodgers is on his final act. Even guys like Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford are fading into legacy watch mode. And the league needs new icons. Not just good players. Characters. Personalities. Quarterbacks who can move the needle, light up a press conference, sell jerseys, and, most importantly, win in style. Shedeur? He checks every box. He's got the look, the voice, the swagger, the brand. But unlike most media stars, he backs it up with field generalship, pre-snap control, timing throws, blitz reads, the traits NFL teams worship when no one's watching. And guess what? Now everyone's watching. Training camp tickets for Browns practices are already being resold like concert passes. Media access windows are packed. Beat reporters are angling for one-on-ones. National shows are sending cameras just to catch a few reps. We haven't seen this kind of rookie buzz in Cleveland since, well, maybe never. But let's not get lost in the noise. There's still a game to play. And week 1, it's no warm-up. The Browns face a division rival with a top 10 defense and a coach who loves nothing more than swallowing rookie QBs alive. If Shedeur thinks this is going to be a victory lap, he's dead wrong. But here's the twist. He knows that. Insiders have reported that Sanders requested extra film sessions after the Week 1 schedule was released, that he's already texting receivers late at night with route tweaks, that he's the last one off the field and the first one in the weight room. In other words, this isn't about proving he belongs. It's about showing why he never should have been doubted. And while we're here, let's talk legacy. Because whether he likes it or not, the Deion son label isn't going anywhere. Not this season. Maybe not ever. But instead of running from it, Shedeur's leaned into it. He's spoken openly about the pressure, about the privilege, about how Coach Prime doesn't hand out praise or minutes lightly. He demands greatness. Every rep, every read. So when Shedeur takes that field, he's not just carrying a city. He's carrying a standard. And that standard is going to come with consequences. Every mistake will be magnified. Every interception will be clipped and posted. Every loss will be a referendum on whether he was ready. But here's what the haters forget. Shedeur chose his pressure. He could have taken the slow path, waited his turn, hid behind a clipboard for a season or two. No one would have blamed him. But he didn't. Because this isn't just about filling a role. It's about taking a franchise and dragging it, kicking and screaming, into a new era. And the Browns? They need it. This is a franchise that cycled through quarterbacks like disposable razors, that spent millions chasing hope, that's watched rivals build dynasties while they've patched holes and blamed injuries. Now, for once, they have someone who isn't looking backward or sideways. He's looking straight ahead, and that forward vision is already changing things. Receivers are saying the huddle feels different. Linemen are saying the energy's shifted. Coaches are quietly admitting they've never seen a rookie win over a room this fast. And if that sounds dramatic, good, because that's what it takes to win in this league. You need more than a playbook. You need a pulse, a purpose, a player who walks in and forces the building to raise its expectations. Shedeur didn't wait for permission. He grabbed the job. He ripped it from the hands of veterans, ignored the whispers, dodged the politics, and made the Browns bend the reality of his potential. Now, the question isn't will he be ready? It's is the league ready? Because the last time a player entered the NFL with this much confidence, scrutiny, and edge, his name was Cam Newton. And whether you liked Cam or not, you felt his presence every time he stepped on the field. Shedeur Sanders has that same spark, and the fire's only just been lit.